One of the reasons for my success is that from the beginning, medicine was a labor of love. And if you are convinced that it's the right thing, you just go out and do it.
To examine the career of Dr. Morton Terry is to examine the changing face of the medical profession over the course of a half-century. For it is Dr. Terry's vision, his dedication to his profession, his belief in the future that has helped osteopathic physicians receive the level of respect and acceptance they deserve. And it is his entrepreneurial skills and intuition that have led him to achieve what most could never even dream of, founding 3 hospitals and a medical university that now impacts the lives of thousands.
Everybody that came to work for us at the beginning all had the same idea of enthusiasm of doing things for students and the public. And my major payment has been that I get letters, visits, and calls from students telling me how great they're doing and thanking me for making it all possible. What can you get that's better than that?
Dr. Terry set forth upon his future course in 1942, choosing to study at the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. At this time, he was unaware that his decision to choose osteopathic medicine over allopathic medicine would have such a great imprint on his life.
The reason I went to osteopathic medical school rather than allopathic is I was impressed by some of the philosophy that went along. In other words, they did everything that the allopathic or physician or MD did, plus the fact the osteopathic physician approached the patient a little differently. He didn't treat a sick liver or a bad heart. He treated an individual who had that problem. So he treated the whole person. That was what was taught, and that's what we teach now here.
The child of poor Polish immigrants, young Morton was well aware of his parents' hope for his future and for a better life than they had been able to provide. With little means to fund his education, but an abundance of drive and determination, young Morton Terry moonlighted as a waiter.
My parents, when I went to Philadelphia, practically went without eating and paid my tuition in medical school, which was $400 a year. However, I couldn't ask them for anything else, and I had to live and eat, and I had the dubious distinction of being the first medical student in the city of Philadelphia to get into the Waiters Union. I worked 7 days, 7 nights a week and weekends for my entire medical school.
Hard work and determination were always a part of Dr. Terry's prescription for success. He simply would not accept "it's never been done" for an answer. At PCO, he persistently forged a path to become the nation's first residency-trained osteopathic internist. It was during his internship there that he met a beautiful nursing school graduate.
Well, the best investment I ever made was that skinny little Irish nurse that I met at the Osteopathic Hospital of Philadelphia during my residency. She has been the perfect companion and partner, and just recently we celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary. And we have had 4 children, we now have 10 grandkids, and she's just perfect.
Let's see, I met my husband in 1945. He had just finished his schooling, and I had just finished my nurse's training. And I thought, who was this guy? He seems to be bossing me around. He seems to know everything. I better put him in his place. So I think he asked me out for a date, and I refused. I always had the excuse I was washing my hair, because he had quite a reputation in those days, quite a ladies' man. Anyhow, one night I actually did wash my hair. I had it up in a towel, and there's a knock on my apartment door. I open it, and there he stands. And I said, I just washed my hair. Wouldn't take no for an answer. We went out to a movie, and that was our first date.
After a 3-year courtship, Morton and Jerry were married in 1948, then set off to honeymoon in Miami. And as chance would have it, they never left.
When I saw Miami in 1948, all ideas of practicing anyplace else left. I was on this beautiful beach on Miami Beach with the sun shining, and I said, this is for me.
When Dr. Terry began practicing in Dade County, there were only a few osteopathic doctors. The profession and its holistic approach was highly misunderstood and even looked down upon by allopathic physicians.
The kinds of prejudice that I went through the years, it was unbelievable. The prejudices at the local big hospitals, and they wouldn't let DOs into hospitals, so they had to build their own hospitals. And because they had to build their own hospitals, and the MD specialists wouldn't consult, they had to create their own specialists.
Dr. Terry, a natural leader and pioneer, went on to help found 3 osteopathic hospitals in Miami. The first was in 1951, the Magnolia Hospital and Clinic in Opa-locka, specifically built to serve the black community in the era of segregation.
In those days, it was still separate waiting rooms for whites and blacks, and we were able to do a lot of good things for a lot of people there. And so that was the first hospital, small hospital we built.
By 1960, the 3rd hospital opened its doors, Osteopathic General Hospital in North Miami Beach. And even though Dr. Terry's impressive accomplishments were playing a huge role in forwarding the profession, there was still a yearning, or as he put it, a magnificent obsession he had not yet satisfied.
As time went on, I still had the dream that I had when I first came down of a College of Osteopathic Medicine in the Southeastern United States. There were only 5 colleges in the country. So I kept thinking about it, but the procedure of making a living and supporting a family, we had 4 children, kept me busy. But in the early 70s, I really became strong for the idea.
Dr. Terry's keen business instincts told him that times were changing in the hospital industry. Some would have viewed this impending change with fear, but Dr. Terry saw a window of opportunity to achieve his dream.
In 1975, I began to realize that mom and pop hospitals were going to be running into trouble. And obviously they have. Most of them have closed, and a few big giants swallowed up the rest. So we made arrangements in 1978 to sell the hospital to American Medical International for $12 million, which went into a foundation, and which we then started the Osteopathic Medical School.
Southeastern College was quickly granted university status, becoming Southeastern University of the Health Sciences. Then, in 1994, Dr. Terry helped engineer the nation's 2nd largest academic merger in history. The culmination of that merger, Nova Southeastern University.
We then went about building just under $70 million worth of buildings, and we didn't borrow any money. We had built that up all from that, started 12 million, spent about 30 million in buildings and equipment, and still worked what was left in the foundation by skillful investments and by different ways, and we were able to accumulate all this money and build this magnificent set of buildings that we have now.
It would be easy just to dwell on the amazing milestones of Dr. Terry's career, but to do that would mean missing the essence of how all this was achieved. Drive, determination, impeccable character, risk-taking, teamwork, and great business instincts. And those business instincts dictate the way he leads as Chancellor of the Health Professions Division at Nova Southeastern University.
Dr. Terry certainly knows that he can provide the best product, but unless you can communicate with the student who is your purchaser of your product and who is eventually the deliverer of your product and the ambassador of your product, is the most important person that we have. And they are the consumers, they are the customers of our corporate entity. The students, in his mind, are number one.
A recent milestone, in 1997, NSU opened the first new dental school in the United States in 25 years. And at 77, Dr. Terry shows no signs of slowing down.
I'm not going to tell you now what my next school is going to be, but it's already on the drawing board.
His entrepreneurial instinct, as well as his financial, knowledge, is so well honed that there's no limits to what's next.
To date, over 3,500 individuals have graduated under Dr. Terry's leadership, and they are hopefully destined to make their families just as proud as Dr. Morton Terry has made his children, grandchildren, and his lovely wife, Jerry. One can only imagine what his immigrant parents would think if they could see his amazing achievements.
We've said different times, if only Mom and Dad could come back, just for one day, they'd be so proud. They'd be so proud to see what he's done. He's got so many irons in the fire and so many dreams that he still wants to fulfill. I'm very proud of him.
This place gives me a reason to continue existing, a reason to get up in the morning. The world doesn't owe me anything. I've been really fortunate.
Dr. Morton Terry.